here and there?
Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah.
Here's a good one. Have them ask them how many deals did they close last year, and then when they
Clyde.
tell you they closed 25, and then ask them to show it to you.
Okay, we're live right now. We're live. Okay. Quiet on the set.
Okay.
Quiet on the set. Hi, everybody.
Wait, can you see me? Yeah. Hello.
Clyde Hagen, TDR Real Estate Group, Realtor extraordinaire.
It's got 2 thumbs in sales real estate. Me.
No, you're supposed to say, how is 2 thumbs in sales real estate?
Oh, yeah.
This guy.
Oh, I didn't think you'd get me on the camera.
You could see yourself on the camera.
Buy a house. We're closing in 21 days. This girl rocks right here. It's the truth. We can show our last 5 deals we closed.
Okay. Kayate. So, today we're going to discuss how to pick a realtor. How does the average person know how to pick a realtor? I know I would be tempted to pick like a really handsome 35-year-old realtor with dark hair and like a really spiffy suit and like a Maserati or something like that.
That leaves me out. She wouldn't pick me. I don't have any hair.
Which is fine, right? I could pick out whatever realtor I wanted to based on, I guess, superficial things. But there's so much more to real estate than
a pretty face.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, are we live? Because I don't see anything. Jocelyn, can you check? It says we're live, so.
We must be.
Okay. All right. So, how do I comment though? Okay.
Yes, you're live.
We are live? Okay. It's not letting me see like comments or viewers or anything though.
Maybe we don't have any.
All right. How to pick a realtor. TDR Mortgage shows you how to navigate the real estate process easily with prudent diligence and make smart, confident decisions when buying, selling, or refinancing. When I'm looking for a realtor, number one, I want to know, are they licensed? You know, do they have the credentials to represent me legally in the state of California? So are they what is their license level? Are they a realtor or a real estate broker?
And how long have they been licensed? We don't want a rookie.
What's the difference? And is it important? Clyde.
It's majorly important. You really want somebody with a lot of experience. If you can get somebody who's been in the market in the
Okay, we're not
15
talking about
years.
experience. We're just talking about the license. So what kind of license do you have?
I have a real estate sales license.
Okay, so I would prefer to work with somebody that's a real estate broker. What do you say to that?
It depends.
Does a real estate broker have more experience than a realtor?
Not necessarily, but a real estate broker, they're either going to be having maybe a big company, like say, a larger company,
okay,
or I lost my train of thought. Is
a broker better than a realtor? Am I better than you because I'm a broker?
In mortgage loans,
But what about in real estate?
No, I've been doing it full time, 20 years.
Okay,
that's how I make my living.
So you've talked about getting your broker license. Why would you get your broker license?
Well, if I wasn't working for you, I would probably get my broker's license.
Okay.
But working for you, and with the fantastic work you do and getting loans closed and our commission split, it's not really worth the liability for me to get my broker's license.
Okay,
unless I'm going to have some realtors underneath me.
Okay.
But if you get a broker like that, they might not have too much time for you because they got to manage their office. You know what I mean?
So a real estate licensee, realtor, and a broker are basically the same licensed individual that can list your home or help you buy a home. The broker has a higher license credential, and it could mean they either have more knowledge and they're more knowledgeable, or they just value that education, or they became a broker so they could have their own office.
And have people underneath them.
Yeah, because I even though I am a licensed real estate broker and know all about real estate, I'm not as good as Clyde.
But like so close.
Let me take out my gum, huh? Okay, I'm gonna do that.
But if I got my broker's license, I'd be opening my own shop. If I opened my own shop, I got more liability.
So Clyde, on my checklist that if you're a consumer and want to get a copy, I want you to send me a DM, slide on in, and let me get you your own checklist. The DRE license lookup, it's really easy to find out if somebody is licensed or not, and that's on my That's on my form. Reviews. So when you're looking to pick a realtor, you want some reviews. Hello, we're a review society. So take a look on Yelp and, you know, read the reviews, read the negative ones. Don't just, there's a lot of really great people and restaurants too that are 4 stars, 3, 3.5. You may want to,
I have a 5, by the way.
I have a 5 too. So you really want to stay at the 4 and above, but look everywhere. Don't just look on Yelp. You know, there's Google, Zillow, Bing, Facebook. So you can check out your realtors' reviews on those formats.
Yeah, and if you want to take it a step farther, ask the realtor to give you 4 or 5 phone numbers of the last clients that they worked with. They could back it up with the
That's
listing.
not on my checklist.
Oh, okay.
I want to stay on the checklist.
You want to catch them and see if they're not telling you the truth. That's what you want to do. You want to ask them, how many deals did you close last year?
That's further down the
We're
list.
going to put that on the list. Oh,
Okay.
okay, I'm going out of order.
So another thing is, you know, do they call or text you back in a reasonable amount of time? I mean, what's reasonable? I don't need somebody to call me back in 5 minutes. That's just me. Some people do. You know, for me, a reasonable amount of time is in a few hours, unless I say, hey, I need you to call me back right away. So that's pretty easy to gauge, right? The other thing is, were they easy to find? When you don't type in the company, type in their name. Is that person easy to find? Can you type in their name and find their phone number? I can't tell you how many agents I've tried to look up. I put in their name and they don't show up. And then I go to their website and there's no phone number on the website. It's so frustrating. So how do you think, like, I feel like if they're not easy to find, how are they going to make your property easy to find on the World Wide Web?
And if they don't call you back in 10 minutes, that could be a potential buyer wanting to buy your house. I really.
Oh, in terms of a listing agent? Yeah. Listing agents need to be answering that phone.
My patience is so short when it comes to people not answering their phone. You know, like
how short?
Mine just rang right now, but we're in this thing, so I didn't answer it, but I'm going to be texting him.
All right. How rude. Okay. Do they have a website? So in this day and age, I mean, come on, you have to have a website. It's your calling card. It has your bio on it. It says what you're about. Maybe they have a blog. Maybe they're staying current and trendy and participating in social media 2019. I mean, that's where we're at. So do they have a website? How long have they been in business? So this is when it comes to experience. So I do not want to work with a real estate agent that has not been doing real estate for less than 5 years. That's me. I would prefer somebody that has been doing real estate 10 or 20 years. Again, that's just me. There's so many moving parts and there's so many things that can go wrong by somebody that's not experienced that I don't want to take a chance with somebody that just honestly doesn't know what they're doing.
You lose your dream home. You'd be surprised how many times things fall out because people don't know.
Or just you lose.
Sometimes you can't get your offer accepted if they don't know what they're doing. They don't even know how to write an offer up the right way.
You lose time and money and just all kinds of other things. So that again, that's me. So why is this super important?
Well, you know, you don't want
to. Tell me about, okay, today we have this new deal and this agent that obviously doesn't know what she's doing told Clyde, what was the conversation? This is a perfect example.
Well, we have an appraiser going out to the property. He's supposed to be out there on Monday. So over the weekend, I go by the house to check because last time I was there, she didn't have the water heater strapped. She had no smoke detectors. She didn't have carbon monoxide detectors. And there were some other issues that needed to be taken care of that the appraiser is going to call out because it's an FHA transaction. So FHA, the house has to be in a different type of condition versus, say, a conventional product. So long story short, called her on Monday, said the appraiser going out, or called her the weekend, said, hey, water heater's not strapped. Where's the smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors? She says, oh, well, maybe you can get the termite guy to strap it. And we had to get our own termite inspection because they didn't want to pay for one or do one. So we got one to make sure our clients would take care of it. Yeah. So the termite guy goes out there. I meet him. And I said, hey, the listing agent wants to know if you'll strap that water heater. And he started laughing.
It's laughable.
He goes, who does that? We don't do that. We do termites.
Yeah. Now this lady very well could be licensed for 10 or 12 years.
Yeah, she's been licensed 15.
So she could meet that criteria of being licensed. But how many transactions is that person doing a year? So that's why you want to use my checklist. Remember to message me and I can get that over to you. So you're going to use this checklist as not everything is definitive, but you're going to use it on the whole. You know, you're an educated consumer going over and asking this agent questions, and you're an agent is going to have no problem answering your questions swiftly and easily with no hesitation, because this stuff is like super no-brainer.
Yeah, and you know that whole thing with the water heater being strapped, when she asked me to do it or have the termite company do it, she should know this, but we don't have permission to do anything to somebody else's house. She has it under contract, so we couldn't even do it if we wanted to.
So 15-year agent on so many levels, incompetent. I mean, truly. Okay, so I would say a minimum, though, is going to be 3 years. What would you say?
You know,
now, what if that agent,
that's a tough question.
So what if, okay, well, what about this? What if, okay, this is another thing.
A year would be good.
Well, it could be transactional, because like, what if you've been doing something 5 years, but you've only done 5 transactions?
Exactly.
You've been licensed 2 years, and you're a
superstar.
You're a superstar, and you've done 30 transactions. I mean, you really need to get at least 10 transactions under your belt to know, like, have an idea or clue of all the intricacies involved. So
yeah, and even after 20 years, there's still things that pop up first time every once in a while.
Yeah, I would sell myself.
You would sell yourself? Oh,
I know. Okay, sure. Okay. Are they full-time?
Are they honest? Do they tell the truth? That's important.
That's at the end of the checklist. Okay, are they full-time? And why is that important? Clyde?
If they're not full-time, let's say they're married and their spouse has a good job. They may be licensed for 10, 15 years, but are they full-time to where they can take care of themselves if their spouse wasn't working?
What does that have to do with anything their spouse working?
Well, because they might not want to work a certain day, or might not want to do due diligence, or maybe they only close a few transactions, and if they were by themselves, they couldn't even survive because they're not good enough to close enough deals.
Well, sometimes people are part-time because they're trying to cross over. You know, maybe people have a really great job with really great benefits, and they supplement their full-time income with part-time real estate work. And, you know, they could do 5 or 6 transactions a year.
No good.
Well, okay. So
I wouldn't want them helping me.
So I feel like that depends. You know, are they meeting the other things on your checklist? So I know some really great agents that are part-time that I work with, that I like, and that do a really great job. So as long as, you know, you can't just look at the checklist and just go off of it's not black or white. It's going to be like a cumulative thing. Okay. But you wouldn't. You want somebody full-time. Like if you're looking for an agent in another state, you want somebody full-time that can, you know, has their finger on the pulse of what's happening, can drop everything to go find this house that just came on the market and possibly even write an offer subject to interior inspection. And it's a great house and yada, yada. So there's all kinds of pros to have somebody that's full-time.
Like today, when we get done with this, I drove about an hour and 20 minutes to get here just to show one house at 5 o'clock.
Wow.
Right? I mean, nobody does that. They're like, I got to drive an hour and a half to show you one house. Well, let's wait till Saturday and I'll get 3 or 4 more. But then that house is gone.
No, then they ask the listing agent. Can you show my house?
Can you show my house for me? You know,
sometimes that's practical though.
No, you never leave your clients alone.
No, you never do that?
Never. Heck no.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, no.
Okay.
No, you got to take care of your clients.
So this is kind of like a sticky one because, you know, there are a lot of really great teams. However, I'm not necessarily. Okay, so does the agent work alone? Are they part of a team? What's the dynamic?
Yeah. And
okay,
so kind of a team too.
I don't want to work with it. This is me. I don't want to work with a team because on team hierarchy, the team is led by the producers, the people that have usually the greatest amount of knowledge, and they hire people to do tasks for them so that they can obviously do more transactions. So most really experienced realtors are going to be on their own, doing their own, because to be part of a team, you're giving up part of your split or part of your commission to have exposure to these sales opportunities that you wouldn't normally have without being on this team. As a realtor, being part of a team is a really great way to cut your teeth because you're exposed to so many transactions. So it's a wonderful training ground for a lot of agents. The problem that I see that happens the most, and this is not on every team, but this is the problem. Usually the transactions, the borrowers and the sellers are left in the hands of transaction coordinators who are not licensed, that do not have the problem-solving skills necessary to lead to success when you come to major problems. And we're talking major problems, where things are you're either going to have success or not. And it just creates so much stress in the transaction. And I feel bad for the TC too, because they shouldn't have to be doing all of this crazy stuff. Buyer's agent. So teams will hire buyer's agents. And again, these teams have a lot of really great people that work on the team, but maybe the team leader has, 500 transactions under his belt, 1,000 transactions under his belt or her belt.
Not in a year.
But you're working with the buyer's agent who maybe has done two transactions. Maybe they've been licensed a year or two, but they've never got off the ground. So you're going to be working with this team, but you're put with this buyer's agent buying a house that really doesn't have enough practical experience. And from a loan standpoint, that puts a huge burden on me because now I have to step in. My team has to step in and give real estate advice because these teams are big producers and they're super, super busy. And it's like a number. Get them in, get them out, move on. Get them in, get them out, move on.
Yeah, and once you open escrow, if you're lucky enough to open escrow, if you're working with a realtor that can't get the deal accepted, you never really talk to that head team member that much, or they're not holding your hand through the transaction or really taking care of you. So you're not getting that personal attention or the education as a buyer that you need to get, because you really need to know how the whole industry works, whether it's a value, condition, how does a loan work, how does this work? Because the more knowledge and information that you have, the more confident you're going to feel when you make a decision. It's not going to be because someone says, oh, no, good deal, just trust me. You buy this house, there's a lot of swampland, but that's okay, and there's a crocodile in the land, but don't worry about it. Buy the house. No, you're going to have enough information. You know what to do. But one thing I want to say is I think a team could be good like our team. Our team is like the best team. And the reason being is we have real estate, we have mortgages, we have our TC, and we have Jocelyn, who runs the office, does whatever Teresa says. But that's our team, mortgage, real estate. Not just a team of a realtor and a bunch of people helping them do things. No, we cover the mortgage end, we cover the real estate end, and we close our deals in 21 days. That's another thing you might want to ask that realtor. I know it's at the bottom of the list. I'm jumping ahead. But you want to ask them, how many deals did you close? They're going to say, oh, I closed 75 deals. Then you say, okay, well, can you give me your printout and show me all the deals you closed? Then they're going to sidestep if they didn't close that many. And they're going to say, oh, can't work with them. They're not very
Thank you, Clyde. That's such great information that we're going to cover more in detail. So I feel I would like to advise my clients. I recommend using an agent that has a transaction coordinator and or works alone and has an assistant or a buyer's agent partner. So, hey, I'm an agent. If I have a transaction coordinator and another partner that I work with, chances are you're going to get personal attention from me, the licensed, experienced person, and I'm going to be able to help you problem solve and give you good advice, go over the escrow packet, go over the contract with you, answer the phone, answer questions, and overall support you 100% fully in the transaction. Again, that's not to say that there are not teams out there that do a good job. Okay. So now also, so does your agent specialize in buying homes or listing homes, selling homes for people? Sometimes somebody that's only lists homes, that's what they specialize. And honestly, they're not really good.
And it's not that they specialize, I don't think. They just don't want to drive people around looking for houses. They want to sit at home, put the property on the internet, and sit back, wait for the phone to ring, and wait for the offer to come over, and da-da-da-da. That's about it. They don't want to get in the car and give up Saturday and Sunday and drive all around. I'm telling you, I know. We're doing it for 20 years.
I know, but being a listing agent puts you in control, and having listings is one of the best things that you can do.
No, having listings is good, but if you don't do both, you're only doing listings and you're not a huge top producer, you're lazy.
Commented. She
Yeah.
said Clyde does videos like me, raw footage.
Yes, raw, baby. Just like I like my vegetables, raw.
So, okay, so do they specialize in buying or selling? It's just a good question to ask. You know, I would want somebody that, hey, yeah, you've listed 10 homes this year, but you've also closed 10 or 11 buyer transactions.
Yeah, you're a
Like
superstar.
you have boots on the ground. You have boots on the ground negotiating with listing agents, showing properties. You have your pulse on
Everything.
on buying. Because selling, you know, listing a house is different. Even though it's a real similar skill set, you know, what if you got a listing agent that really doesn't even like to work with buyers because buyers are kind of, you all pain in the butt. You know that, right? Like you have a reputation.
I love all my buyers. I never said that about one of them.
No, but buyers a lot of times have a higher expectation of what they should be purchasing as opposed to what they can purchase. So it's all, you know, working with a buyer is somebody that you need patience. And you have to be able to educate that person. I feel like that's why Clyde is so successful, is because he really truly educates that buyer along the whole process. Yeah.
And how long does it usually take me to get an offer accepted? Be honest. I'll take people out in one day
I
to get
don't
their
know.
offer
It's
accepted.
insane. I just
telling
feel
you.
like if I just give you buyers,
I'll get a buyer.
You'll have them in like a week.
I'll take them out on a Saturday, but before I take them on a Saturday, I'll go out for maybe 20 hours and I'll look at 60 or 70 houses and then I'll take them to the 3 that I know they're going to want. And then I'll write it up and then I'll hammer on it till we get the offer accepted. How many times did I text you 11 o'clock at night? Okay, get ready to open the escrow on Monday. I took them out in the morning and I hammered it till 11 o'clock at night and boom, we open escrow. We just did this on the last transaction.
Yeah, and
the
listing
5 before
listing agents really like to work with you. That makes a big difference.
Yeah, a lot of times, even when I have listings, if I get an offer, I'll talk to the agent on the phone and I'll go, oh my gosh, there's no way we want to work with this guy. We're going to be nothing but problems. Oh man.
I know when I've listed houses,
you have to
I
know
don't
who
do
to
that
pick.
anymore. Like my own houses, right? And I have to deal with these agents. And they're dicks to me on the phone. I'm not going to take their offer. I want the pleasant person, the pleasant realtor. I don't think that a lot of buyers know
What they act
how
like when they're on the
shitty,
phone.
how shitty their agents actually are.
Yeah, they try to act like they're an attorney, right? You can make over $100,000 a year and be a licensed realtor and not go to college. So they figure, oh, I'm like a lawyer. So they go in there and say, do a bunch of stuff that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, that
It's
just is
like
a total
red
turn off.
flag all the way
So they're
around.
turning off, and you could have got your offer accepted, but your agent is such a dumbass. Okay, getting back to this. Getting back to my list. Okay. So, Clyde, here's the one thing that you interjected earlier. So how many transactions did they do last year? I mean, transactionally, you want somebody that's got, you know, their feet wet and that's producing. So, you know, ask them, how many did you do?
Thing though, when you deal with some of the realtors that are from a bigger company, and I don't want to say any names, but I am over 21. What they might show you, they might say, oh, we closed 50 transactions or 100 transactions, but it's not their transactions, it's their office's transaction. So they're not even the realtor in a lot of those deals. So you really want to, if they tell you how many they closed, then at that point I'd say, oh, okay, that's great. And I'd write that number down. Then I'd ask them, can you email me a printout of all your closed transactions? Because all you have to do is log on to the MLS. They can print out all the deals that closed, has all the addresses, and then ask them for a few phone numbers to call up the people to see how they like working with them. That'll tell you in a nutshell. And then you'll be calling Teresa.
Now, I probably wouldn't go to that extreme because it sounds like a lot of work. But, you know, again, an educated consumer, somebody that doesn't have any strong ties to a real estate agent or a mortgage lender, you want to do your own diligence. And I really think that the buyers nowadays are down for that. You know, you guys want to know. I feel like it's comforting to know that you're using the person that is not only seemingly right, but then you vetted them and you checked them out. And there's not easy ways to find out how to do that. So I'm really hoping this information, you find it useful. Okay, so then after how many transactions did they do? This is a huge one for me. Huge.
What transaction?
No. Do they own a home? Here, this realtor is taking you out to show you a house. How long have they been doing real estate? Do they own a house? I don't know. Maybe they Maybe if they don't own a house, they shouldn't be giving you advice on how to buy a home. Do they own investment properties? You know, what is their skill level? What is their level of into the whole real estate game? I am a little reticent to sit here and say that, though. I mean, we all have things that we've been through in life. So again, this checklist is something that you're going to use to do your best to find the right fit for you. So some of these may be important or may not. I don't know. So,
I think honesty is always the best policy. I mean, you get a referral from somebody who's used a realtor, you want to definitely look into that. You know, referrals are the best way to go. But
yeah, because if one of your friends or families had a positive experience, chances are you would too.
Yeah, and that's how we get. That's how I get all my business. To be honest with you, referrals, and Teresa. But I probably got, I don't know, 10 referrals in the last 2 months, maybe.
I'm not 10, even that.
We got 5 or 6. We got out of those.
Oh,
we got some listings coming up. Gonna have a listing in La Pointe.
We're all like going all over the place
lot,
now. Okay.
3 units on the property.
Clyde, it's not on the checklist. This is a video for this checklist.
In between, I'm doing some advertising.
Okay. We're nearing the bottom of the checklist. If you want this checklist in a very short format, I'm happy to send it to you. Slide into my DMs. Okay.
Or call me. I'll tell you what it is.
Okay. Do they charge an additional fee for the transaction coordinator or legal doc coverage on top of the standard commission? I've seen this come into play. I'm just kind of like, God, really? You're charging 6% for the commission, but now you have to charge another $500 or $600 for the TC fee, or for the legal fee. I mean, like,
it's a junk fee.
Yes. But, you know, now the real estate commissions are not 6%, though. You know, they're 5. Yeah. So when you're showing a buyer, it used to be standard 3%. Then they start cutting it to 2.5, 2, even 1.5. So, you know, again, I'm not one to judge. You run your business however you want. But when you're looking to buy, it would be good to know up front if this team, if this realtor is charging you an additional fee for a transaction coordinator. The last 2 are so simple, and I feel like we mostly lead with the last 2. That's why I left them last, is do you like them and do you trust them?
Trust. So, ding, ding, ding.
Do you like them and do you trust them? And so I think like is a pretty easy thing to judge, right? Because you know pretty, like, I like Clyde. I know that I like him. Not right now, though. Trust is an intuitive thing. So trust is something that you can build after using your checklist, right? You can go through this and you know when you're talking to somebody if you're being bullshitted or not. Like, you know, like that detector is high. And if they're not answering these things, you know, quickly and swiftly and they're having to think about it, well, that's kind of a telltale sign. And so I feel like if you have a high trust and this agent is deficient in any of these other areas, I would say it would be safe to move forward. It would just depend on, you know, where or how deficient they are. When you're using a really great mortgage broker, I've worked with several people that, you know, maybe it's their first transaction. And because we're on that back end overlooking the contract, helping negotiate the contract, telling them how to write the contract, what to ask for, how many days, you know, talking to the client, letting the client know about contingencies, letting the client know about all facets of the contract, and then also being there to support and hold both of their hands, the buyer and the buyer's agent, through the transaction. We've had success. So that is all. What do you like? Do you like this checklist?
Yeah. But I think if you took the time and asked them to give you a printout of the last 10 transactions they've closed, and you want the phone numbers to the people they sold the houses to, and then you go call them. Then you'll know if those transactions really exist.
I like that. That's a really super simple way.
Yeah.
So I could say, I could add that. This checklist, I'm not all the way done with it, so maybe I could add that down here.
Yeah, it's really easy. You just say, how many transactions have you closed like the last 4 or 5 months? If they say, oh, I closed 9. Say, okay, well, can I have a printout of those 9 transactions? And can I call a couple of them? then if they start to stutter,
If they are listing for you, I hope their business is at the top of every search, because if you can't market your business, you can't market my house. Thank you, Carlos. Exactly.
good job, Carlos.
Anyway, hey, so if you're looking to buy or
Carlos is a
sell
realtor too.
in Southern California, pick up that phone and give me a call, Teresa Tims, and you can find me on the web, SoCalLoanPro.com. Clyde
Clyde
Hagen.
Hagen. Hey, Relene, the rock star's on. Yes, give us a call. 951-581-0330.
We'd love to hear from you. Over and
I'll
out.
eat a bug to sell your house.
I just can't with you. You'll eat a bug to sell a
Heck
house?
yeah. I'd eat more than a bug, trust me.
Well, I, for one, have eaten a lot of shit to get a transaction through before. Okay, let's see. In the broadcast.
If I do this like 10 times, I'll get better.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You're going to be a natural. Say goodbye one more time.
Oh, hey, wait. We're twins now. Look.
20.
Glasses.
Okay. All right.
So if I'm off to the side and I can see my shoulder, does that mean they can only see my shoulder?
Mhm.
Oh,